Hello, I'm Simulator Dirk, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are in for a big episode. What I've decided to do on this occasion is go to the internet and download about 35 different plans of various types and descriptions, various states of readiness, and we are going to give them a test flight. There'll be links on the show notes at simulatordirtgaming.com and in the description below on this video in relation to timestamps and where I got these aircraft from. Some are from Flightsim.to and others are from allflightmods.com. Today we are going to Toulouse, which
Tower Airfrance 068236 at runway 32 left, ready for takeoff IFR to Blagnac. Airfrance 068236 cleared for takeoff runway 32 left.
Okay, so we are at...
Cleared for takeoff runway 32 left, Airfrance 068236.
We are at Toulouse Airport, Lima Foxtrot Bravo Oscar, and this airport is where Airbus do a lot of their flight testing. So this is the Airbus A330 that we featured in the previous episode. We have featured in previous episodes as well. We are going to give it a test flight. This one we know works because we have flown it before. This one we know works. So Otto will have control of the aircraft. We'll go outside. So Otto's handling everything. So we're going to have a look at this aircraft. We know that it flies. We know that this is a long runway. We know that they do test flights here, so we know that this particular aircraft, we know it works, we know it works well. And just like the rest of them on this episode, this one is a free aircraft. So I'm not exactly sure which one or where the Airbus factory is in relation to the airport.
068236 contact Blagnac approach on 121.105. 121.105 Airfrance 068236.
So we know this one works. If you want to...
Blagnac approach Airfrance 068236 is climbing through 1,500 feet for 5,000 feet.
So we know this one works. We know this one works well.
068236 Blagnac approach, continuous plan. Altimeter 29.02.
So we know this one works. If you go back in...
Airfrance 068236 climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet, Airfrance 068236.
So we'll leave this one here. We know this one works. So we just saw the Airbus A330. We're about to see the Airbus A350. Now I haven't used this aircraft before. I have downloaded it, I have installed it, and that is all I've basically done with it at this stage. But it's somewhat appropriate that we are at basically what is Airbus's home airport to test this one out. As is the case with all of them, there will be a link in the show notes to where I downloaded them from. Keep in mind this episode was recorded in March 2021, so there may be some differences between the version that I recorded this episode with and the version that is out by the time that you are indeed watching this episode. Links on the show notes to where I got all of the planes at the time of recording. It will be interesting to see if the A350 works similarly.
Tower testing 12-12-112 tree at runway tree 2 left ready for takeoff straight out departure.
They didn't get my joke.
Testing 12-12-112 cleared for takeoff runway tree 2 left straight out departure approved.
Okay, so this is the Airbus A350 with a
Cleared
British
for takeoff,
Airways.
runway tree 2 left testing 12-12-112 tree.
I didn't mean it to be testing 1212, I meant it to be testing 1212. Testing 1212. So here we have the A350. So all of these will be in the same conditions. Auto flying, auto doing the radios, and this will basically be it. But it's a good looking model, this one, the A350. All of these are freely available off the internet. I haven't paid for any of these, and they're at various stages of development, etc. Alright, so let's get this bird into the air. We'll just go outside view. Nothing said I want to fly it for some reason. Alright, Otto, let's go. The A350. Now I have reduced the volume of the aircraft slightly, but apart from that I haven't done anything else. Let's see how we go. Let's go, Otto. Oh, that must be close to a tail strike. So the gear is up. There's no other mods in relation to any of these controls. Otto, my co-pilot, is flying everything, so it has nothing to do with the way I'm flying the plane or what I'm set up to do. The intention for all these aircraft is just to do an initial circuit and land basically on the same runway. So far so good for the A350. Now, to keep it all fair, I'm not going to show any cockpit views or anything like that because some of the aircraft are at various stages of development inside the cockpit. They're up, will be... There'll be links to all the aircraft.
Testing 12-12-112 frequency change.
Having said that,
Blagnac tower testing 12-12-112 is 5 miles northwest with echo to land.
having said that, the various developers have been... to be fair,
Make left downwind runway tree 2 left testing 12-12-112.
to be fair, all of the developers that I've downloaded these planes from that you will see throughout the episode have been fairly honest with the stated limitations and various stages of development of the aircraft. So it's not as if you read the comments, if you read the description, you'll figure out what stage of development the various aircraft are at. But this one, the A350, is looking mighty fine. Now the aircraft itself how Otto lands the aircraft may not be reflective of how good the aircraft is actually at landing. If you've seen previous episodes, just because it's the AI pilot, just because it's the co-pilot, doesn't necessarily mean that he's good at landing. So I'm liking this so far. Now I did turn everything back to the easy setting. I have to get rid of the pattern markings again, or I might not for this episode. I might leave it on, and then that way we'll get a gauge of how Otto's flying the approach. I'm not going to do any of these aircraft in any particular order. I'm just going to do them in the order in which they're in my aircraft folder. So Otto now should just be about ready to turn left and join the pattern. Now I haven't downloaded any liveries specially. Some of them may have been included in a pack that I already had. So Otto is turning left to join the pattern, and they're actually happy with his airspeed, which is good. Actually, I'll just turn the camera around. To give you a view with the sun behind the camera, sort of looking into the sun. So landing gear is down. I did see in one of the descriptions that they haven't necessarily done the animation yet for the landing gear in one of the aircraft. I guess we'll find out which one that was a little bit later on. Otto, as per usual, is running engines pretty hard. But that's one thing that I've noticed that he does with a lot of aircraft, so it's not necessarily just because he's driving an Airbus. So you'll see on various episodes I have used the 320 and the 330 and now the 350. There will be, if it works, there will be an A380. Coming up, if it works. If it works, there is actually a A330 that will be, no, we saw the A330 earlier. At some stage, if it works, we'll be seeing the A380 a little bit later on. There is a new A380 that's being worked on. That will be similar in standard to the A330 that we saw to start this episode. So I'm looking forward to that. So just starting to make the left-hand turn. So we'll be coming on to our final shortly. And let's see how Otto does landing the A350. So what I'll be basically judging the aircraft on this occasion, does it manage to load? Does it look okay? Does it fly okay on autopilot? Does it take off? Does it land? I'm not looking to how I would fly the aircraft. There are some aircraft coming up that I would have to modify my setup and my profiles to do that. But we'll see how we do as Otto is coming in for his landing. And the ultimate test, am I going to keep or delete the aircraft? And at this stage with the A350, I'm keeping it. And would I use it again? Yes, I would. Coming in nicely. A little bit to the left, Otto. You were a bit to the left, Otto, but it was a good landing. You're just a little bit off target. That can happen with Otto sometimes. Sometimes he does a good job of the landing. He's just not on target on the runway. But that was the A350. Now this next one, I hope is going to be special. Very, very appropriately considering we are testing in France. I don't know if we're going to get the full capabilities of this aircraft or not, but I'm hoping so. Never been on it. I've seen it from a distance in preservation, but I've never actually ridden on it. Don't think I'm going to be riding on it anytime soon. I haven't been to a place that you can actually go inside it, but I have seen it from a distance. It's certainly changed the airline industry and also flying between the UK and America. I present to you the Concorde. Now this is extremely loud. I've turned it down as much as I can. So I've turned the aircraft down as much as I can. This is the Concorde. I don't know if this is going to be a fair test, but let's see what happens. Do we even take off? No. Now I'm going to restart that one because, to be fair, we didn't have auto in control of that aircraft from the start. If I remember, I will put a warning up for your ears before that one. That one was extremely loud. That one was extremely loud. I've turned my audio way down. I had heard that some people had issues with getting that aircraft off the ground. Don't know how it goes with the co-pilot / AI flying it, but we will try that one again because it didn't have auto in control from the start of the runway, so that may affect things. I had read that some people had trouble taking off, and it's a shame. Some of these aircraft are conversions from other flight simulators in the past into Microsoft Flight Simulator. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the developers have been honest to say that, yeah, this is a conversion. This is the stage that we're at. This is what works, this is what doesn't work. Some people have reported various issues, for instance, or some people get it to work, some people don't, but that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this episode. Just because it may not work for me, or just because it works for me, doesn't mean that it may or may not work for you. And that was extremely loud. Even with me turning my game audio down to basically zero, that was extremely loud. I don't know if this is going to be a success, or if it's even going to be a fair test. Now, I don't know. So, needless to say, that didn't go to plan. That didn't go to plan. That one I won't be keeping. As I said, other people may find that they can get that aircraft to work. I'm not going to try and fly it myself. My feeling is that if Otto, the AI pilot, can't fly it, well, I'm not even going to attempt it. So, unfortunately, bye-bye Concorde. As I said, maybe not a fair test. He wasn't even trying to. Take off with that one. So we'll see how we go with the next one. So this next aircraft is very, very interesting, and it's had a lot of people excited. Some people haven't managed to get it to work. There's a new version out as of mid-March 2021, which is the version that I will be testing. The interesting thing about it is that at the bottom of the screen that you can't see, it gives us some of the details about the aircraft, and it is what the aircraft is coming up. So there's been a lot of people who have tried this particular aircraft. Some said that it's handled like a plane when it first came out. I've seen a few videos that you can modify it so it flies the way that it should. Very technical. It's a unique aircraft so far to Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is unique. It is one of a kind. It's not officially supported in terms of, it hasn't come from Microsoft or one of their partners. But it is certainly filling a massive gap, and it might not be some time until a better offer comes along, so to speak. We are indeed about to take off. Now, I'm not sure how Otto is going to go with this one, but we're about to fly. Now, I should turn up.
Hotel Bravo Echo Charlie cleared for takeoff runway 32 left straight out.
Now, we're about to fly a helicopter. Okay, we'll give Otto control. Here we go. Otto, it's all yours. So this might not be a fair test either. We'll see where Otto goes. I'm definitely looking forward to...
Echo Charlie, did you hear my last transmission?
Definitely looking forward to seeing how Otto goes with this one. A lot of people been flying this helicopter on YouTube. It's a Airbus H135, and there's quite a few videos at the moment which tells you how to change your flight settings so you can actually fly the aircraft. Not like this one, but I'm definitely going to keep this one and give this one a try, even though it's not necessarily a fair test. Otto seems to be going well at the side hover, but in terms of where he probably actually should be going, not so much. I dare say that if I set up my controllers correctly, I dare say that if I tried to pilot this aircraft after watching some videos, it might be a different story. So in some respects this isn't a fair test, but it does show you that there is a helicopter that is freely available. ATC's not happy with us. Not exactly sure where Otto's going. Now my flight controls aren't set up for a helicopter at the moment, so I'm not going to take over. But if you're a helicopter fan, here is a helicopter in Microsoft Flight Simulator. May take some extra work to get it up and flying, but there's certainly promise as we're about to go through the trees, possibly over a road, through some more trees, and finally into a house. So, am I going to keep the helicopter? Yes, I'll keep the helicopter. Do I know that it's got potential? Yes, it's absolutely 100% got potential. It will require a bit of work at my end, but I have seen a couple of videos that can assist me, and I'll be featuring it on a very, very upcoming episode. That's a job for future Simulator Dirk to get his flight controls, etc. sorted out. But there is hope for that helicopter. So yes, I will be keeping it. I don't know why Otto flew that the way that he did. However, I don't know why Otto flies half the aircraft the way that he does. Coming up next is a member of the Boeing family, the Boeing 737. Now this one is a port from a different flight simulator. Links on the show notes at simulatordirtgaming.com, and also timestamps, etc. in the description on the video below. This isn't the payware version that a lot of the flight sim community are up in arms about. This is a freeware version. Some people were surprised that the 737 wasn't included.
Tower November 737 Whiskey ready for straight on departure at runway 32 left.
Alright, we'll go outside again. Okay, so Otto has a ship. needless to say, I won't be keeping that one. There are some aircraft that says that you have to change modes into another setting. I've just got everything set on easy. I haven't changed things into previous Flight Simulator modes or anything to get that to work. You can try it if you want. I won't necessarily be doing that. I won't necessarily be keeping that one. Very surprised with how Otto flew that one. Very similar to how he flew the Concorde, honestly. So I'm surprised that he kept that. Now we're going military with a FA-18. Is there anything other than Blue Angels, NASA? Oh, RWF, Roller Train Air Force. Yes, please. We'll be using that livery. And let's see how this one goes. I will try and reduce the noise of the louder aircraft in post-production as much as I can. Recording as live without actually streaming, I've reduced the audio as much as I can, but some of them were still extremely loud, and some of that could be because of how they were ported across from other simulators. But I'm not much of a military aviation guy. Like, I can appreciate some of the aircraft that we'll be featuring, including the FA-18. And this is a little bit surprising because one half of my parentage does actually have military, and the other worked in military. So I can appreciate the difference between an FA-18, what it does, and like a B-52. There's a B-52 coming up, and I think there's a Globemaster coming up as well. So I can appreciate them doing different jobs and that sort of stuff, and what they bring to the table. And I think it'd be cool to be able to see them fly, etc. But I'm not a massive. I don't have a lot of military knowledge compared to airliner and also light aircraft general aviation knowledge. So we'll see how this one goes, the FA-18.
Testing unit 1 cleared for takeoff, runway 32 left, departing straight out.
Now, yeah, this is the one where it says in the description
Cleared
that
for takeoff, runway 32 left, testing unit 001.
Yeah, this is one of the ones where the landing gear hasn't been done or animated yet, so it looks wrong. We'll just do our side view. So yes, it does look wrong. Am I going to keep it as a result of this? No, but let's see how we go. Otto, you have the ship. Am I going to keep that one? Definitely not. I was warned about that one by reading the description. Are there better versions of that type of aircraft out there? Probably. Will I go looking for it? Yes, I will. Because that FA-18 is one that a lot of aviation geeks, etc., can identify with. So we'll see how we go. Going slightly slower, but hopefully getting off the ground this time. We're about to fly a CRJ 700. Now, the interesting thing about that is that during the week that this episode is being recorded, there is a payware version of a CRJ coming out, which is going to be a lot more expensive than the price of nothing. So we will see how this one. We'll see how this one goes. I'm sort of tossing up. I want to see the price of the CRJ before I go out and purchase it. I'm certainly not going to go out and get every single paid version of an aircraft known to man. If I can get a free version of an aircraft just to do one video of, and that's basically it, bring it out occasionally, yeah, that'd be great. Will I try and find something like an FA-18? Yes, I will. Am I prepared to pay for that? Maybe. I don't know. But we'll see how we go with the CRJ. There are similar aircraft to the CRJ that is already available via Microsoft Flight Simulator as part of default. But we'll see how this one goes. Certainly hope that this one goes a bit better. I don't know how the FA-18 that we just saw would have went if I was flying the aircraft. As I said, I'm not switching modes or anything like that. I'm in easy mode. I'm using the AI pilot, the co-pilot in all of these situations, so it's a fair comparison. But we will see how we go. We're using the same airport, same time of day, etc. Now, clearly, that FA-18 is a work in progress, and thankfully, I often say in relation to anything on the internet, don't read the comments. It may indeed be worthwhile before you download anything, even if it's a free download. It may be worth reading the comments. It may be worth, and certainly worth reading the description, because with some of these aircraft, there are adjustments that you can maybe make in some cases that will get it to fly. Sometimes you need to fly the aircraft, not auto. But we'll see how we go with the CRJ coming up. Recently, I tried going back to X-Plane. Haven't got a lot of X-Plane experience, but I've been absolutely spoilt with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've got about 38, I think this will be like 39, 40 hours coming up by the end of this episode. And something like 140 hours in Steam. Some of that's been downloading stuff and looking for the marketplace and that sort of thing. But this episode will give you a good guide to what you can expect out of some of the most popular aircraft in the world, the freeware versions thereof. Some of them, as I've said, are just straight out and out conversions of other aircraft that have been in previous simulators. The Boeing 737 is a classic example of that one. Am I going to keep that one? Absolutely not. I've got enough with the Airbus A320 and the 330 and the 350 and the 747 So I've got enough sort of representation of that sort of era. I don't really see the need to download a 737 unless it's good. As I said, maybe that will work for you. There's a couple of different versions of the 737 out there that you can download. There may be different settings. I don't know. I'm not going to spend all that time switching between the modes to see if they will work or not. So I hope this is a good test. Coming up, the CRJ. We've also got some aircraft that you might describe as novelty aircraft. The helicopter was certainly an interesting addition as we cross back.
Tower November Charlie Romeo Juliet 70 ready at runway 32 left departing straight out.
November Charlie Romeo Juliet 70 cleared for takeoff runway 32 left straight out departure approved.
Alright, so we've kept it in the white
Cleared for
state.
takeoff runway 32 left Juliet 70.
This is actually looking pretty schmick. We'll see see what sort of job Otto does in flying it. But compared to spending maybe $60 or whatever on a CRJ,
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Do I need to reset that? Yeah, I need to reset that one. Oops. We'll reset that one. Stand by.
Tower November Charlie Romeo Juliet 70 ready for straight on departure at runway 32 left.
Okay, we're back now. That last bit of failure. That little bit of failure with the landing gear may have been my issue. It still had me in charge of the aircraft, and the last time that I used the flight controls, I still had the landing gear up, and so it's recognized that and has gone gear up. So the landing gear is down. Otto is completely in charge now. So Otto, you have the ship. Let's go. Okay, Otto, let's go. After Otto. Oh, engine's not started. Hang on, we'll see if we can assist in that process. If I can't get the engine started on the runway, that's not good. Let me see if I can... Alright, Otto, you have the ship. Doesn't sound like the engines are on to me. Alright, we'll give Otto control. This is similar to the problem that I had with the default 787 in a previous episode. Now, I haven't deleted that because that's a default aircraft, but if I can't get this one started, unfortunately, it looks like we won't be seeing the CRJ do anything, and that's a shame. Alrighty, let's see how we go with this one. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm not much of a military head, but I can appreciate the aircraft. Coming up, we're going to see the C-47, and after that, the civilian equivalent, the DC-3. Now, I have seen a DC-3. I've been in the cockpit of it, I think I went on a static tour of a DC-3. If you've ever watched Ice Pilots, you would have seen the DC-3. So we are going to see how this one goes. I did have a test of the DC-3. There's two separate downloads that I used. One's this C-47, the other's the DC-3. Didn't have a lot of luck with the DC-3, but we'll see how we go on this occasion. Hopefully the C-47 will work a little bit better than the FA-18 did. No, there's a lot of interest out there in the flight sim community in relation to this era of aircraft. There's a lot of people saying, while the modern stuff is modern and everything like that, they want to be able to use something like the C-47. They want to use aircraft such as this. So this is the C-47. Alright, we'll go outside again. So far, so good. We're up in the air. Gear up. This is a pleasant surprise. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. Oh no, the engines have stopped.
Landham Tower Tree 15221 is 4 miles east with Echo to land.
No, the engines have stopped. What are you going to do, Otto?
Tree 15221 Blagnac Tower. Enter left base runway tree. 2 left.
No.
Altimeter 29er.9er. 2 wind 271 at tree.
Otto, the engines have stopped and you're not going to do anything about it.
221 clear to land runway tree 2 left. Wind 271 at tree. 221 contact ground on 121.9er.
Well,
Going to 121.9 or 221.
well, it was a good landing, not exactly a clear space to land, but you didn't flip the aircraft or anything. I know more investigation required on that one, but it only seemed to be when ATC called that died. So I might have to do some more investigation, some more reading about that one, but definitely showed a lot of promise. Not 100% gone yet. Well, that one was certainly promising. Going to have to do some more reading about that one. That could be a known issue in relation to that, but definitely I did see some potential in that particular aircraft. Now we're about to, this is a separate download, the DC3 that has been ported from another simulator. This is the civilian version of the C-47, the DC3. So we'll see how this one goes. Didn't have a lot of success with it before with Otto being the co-pilot. I have known and I have noticed in previous episodes, and if you go back you'll find them, how Otto reacts in relation to having engines out compared to how I would react. And I'm by no means a experienced pilot.
0 Delta Charlie ready and runway tree 2 left straight on departure.
I'm by no means an experienced pilot, but we'll go outside again. Alright, Otto, you have the ship. If I was that guy, I'd move house. If I was that guy, I certainly wouldn't be living there. I'd certainly move house. Now, the interesting thing to notice there was that basically did the same thing as the Concorde did and as a couple of the other planes did. The FA-18. I have heard various forms of the C-47, DC-3 being brought to Microsoft Flight Simulator. That one I'll be deleting. But the C-47 at least Otto managed to get that one off the ground. Now, this next one, I'm not sure if it's a B. I have seen it as a B-52 and also as a B-25, but it's a military type aircraft. We'll see what happens in relation to this one. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more luck with that than what we did with the FA-18, but this is part of the joy of doing it. Am I starved of planes to fly? No. Am I continually going to make adjustments between having some in previous flight simulator mode and that? Probably not. Do I even need some of the aircraft? Arguably, probably not, but I'm just doing this as a... I'm just doing this one as a test and to see what works with my own eyes and what doesn't. And so far it's been mixed. It's been mixed results. Certainly happy with the A350 that we opened up with. The helicopter's got some promise. It needs some fine tuning, definitely, and it needs me to fly it rather than Otto. And I am prepared to do that. That's fine. But with some of these other ones that haven't even left the runway, probably not. So we're about to go do some military flying again. There are also some paid versions of some military aircraft which I may or may not be prepared. I'm sort of up in the air. What a pun. I'm up in the air about deciding to pay for a military aircraft or not via the marketplace or elsewhere. So let's get back to the action. Alright, so we'll go to the outside view again. As I mentioned, some of these are at various stages of cockpit development. Let's give Otto control of the ship. Otto, you have the ship. Let's go. Sometimes, considering that Otto loves going full out, full throttle, sometimes he doesn't. So let's see how he goes with this one. He's airborne. He's up and about, Otto. Now I don't know if this was the case with this aircraft, but the wings seem longer than the fuselage. But this is promising. Not sure that I'm a fan of the look of it or anything like that, but yeah, it's up in the air. It did more than the FA-18 did. We'll see if Otto can manage to get it back to the airport, unlike the C-47. So this one seems to be flying not too badly. The airspeed's good. Now we're only setting this up for a circuit, but this one's not looking too bad. Keep in mind it was only when ATC got back to us at the Then the engine died on the C-47. Will I keep this one? I might keep it. Would I pay for something that looked like this aircraft? Not particularly. Much rather the C-47/DC-3, but that's just a personal, that's just a personal preference. I've got no attachment to this type of aircraft. Certainly have more of a likeness of the C-47/DC-3. There's some people that are so heavily in a military aircraft that, Microsoft could make a lot of money. They could make a lot of money with military type aircraft, and there's more and more. There's more and more aircraft being announced on a regular basis. This episode's being recorded in mid-March. This episode's being recorded in mid-March. So this one's looking pretty good in terms of. This one's looking pretty good. This one's looking pretty good in terms of just doing a simple circuit. It's doing everything that I wanted it to do. It went down the runway, it took off. The engine speeds have been good. If I was to put this on a longer flight, it would probably cope. Would I feature it on an episode? Probably. Is it going to be my go-to aircraft? Probably not. But so far so good. So it looks like we're going to try and join the pattern. I could actually increase the volume a little bit. There we go. So the volume's up to more of its regular level now in relation to the engine. So I'll just be quiet for a moment and let the engine of the aircraft take over. No, this is looking quite good. So we seem to be, according to what the simulator likes, it seems to be coming in too hot. Different aircraft have different landing speeds. I don't know if that's taken into account what this aircraft should be coming in as. But we'll see how Otto goes with the landing. Otto, you have the ship. Alright, so we're just joining the pattern now. Or we're trying to join the pattern. Interestingly, Otto is not flying with the throttle at 100%, which he usually does. Alright, let's go, Otto. Alright, landing gear down. Alright, that's a little bit better. That's the sim's more happy with Otto's speed now. So after the DC3, I didn't have a lot of hope for this, but so far so good. Even though it's not my personal choice of a good aircraft in terms of the looks and everything like that, it's doing what I want it to. It's flying. he seems to be doing a good job with this one, although I must give him credit that he's doing all right. Bit lost in relation to what you're doing with the pattern here, Otto, and actually landing. But we'll stay with you. Seems to have gone all the way back to the pattern entry for some reason, even though the airport's only 1.5 nautical miles away. This could be an auto thing rather than an aircraft thing, I'm not 100% sure. But we're just going around in circles, Otto. Might have to do some more reading into this one to see if this is a thing. Okay, seems to be leveling out now. Alright, let's see. What are you doing now, Otto? Seem to be flying away from the airport. You found the airport, Otto? What are you doing now, old mate? just seems to have no concept of where the airport is. And then he'll level out, and then you think, oh, I might be going to land, and then he'll just do circles again. Which is very strange behaviour, even for Otto. Alright, now you seem to be heading in the right direction. And you're going loop to loop again, Otto. We'll leave you right there, but more investigation. Definitely worthy of further investigation. Not deleting this one just yet. Alright, we're going to stick with military aircraft before we totally change pace. It's the F-14. And we'll see how we go with this one. I didn't mind mostly what that aircraft did. But I'm not sure how I'd go flying that one. Otto just seemed to be going around and around and around. Maybe that might be different with a point-to-point flight rather than a just doing a circuit of an airport, because he certainly seemed to be circuiting the airport quite literally there, Otto. So here we go. This is
Tower ready at runway tree 2 left, departing straight out.
This is the F-14 Tomcat.
Cleared for takeoff runway tree 2 left, departing straight out, approved. Cleared for takeoff runway tree 2 left.
The F-14. Let's get ready to fly. We'll have a look outside the cab, outside the cockpit. We'll give, once I get the camera angle sorted, I'll give Otto control of the ship. This looks like a conversion from something else. Okay, Otto, have the ship. Let's go. Afterburners on. Okay. This one might be very early in its stages of development, or if it's just a port from a different flight simulator. I was thinking about taking off. We're up in the air, Otto. Absolutely no engine noise to speak of. To be fair, that could be in the notes in the description in relation to that. What I'm going to do at the end of this episode, I'm going to quickly go through at the end the different aircraft and quickly read any notes, etc., which could fill in some gaps. And we're coming down. It's like we're a very expensive hang glider here, Otto. Where have we heard that before? But there's absolutely zero engine noise at all. We are somehow at 250 knots and 1,100 feet. But please be assured.
You are leaving my airspace frequency change, approved.
But please be assured that.
Tower frequency change.
Please be assured that there should be engine
Blagnac
noise.
Tower
There
is
isn't.
5 miles northwest with echo to land.
We'll see how we go in relation to
Blagnac
this one.
Tower. Make left downwind runway tree 2 left. Altimeter 29er decimal 9er, 2 wind 271 at tree.
Needless to say, I'll be deleting this one.
Make left traffic runway tree 2 left.
But we'll see how we go. It certainly makes a nice difference from some of the very, very noisy aircraft that we had before. But we will see how we go. $150 knots. Some engine power now being applied. Not that you'd know it by listening to the engine, but on the gauges that I can see on my screen, you can't see on yours. We're actually about 33% engine power in both engines at the moment. So let's just see how Otto does with the landing. This is very, very spooky. This is even more spooky than when the 787 turned off its engines mid-flight. And this is even more spooky than that. Because in that case, in the 787's case, there was no engine output whatsoever. This one's producing at 30% on both engines. And we are coming in. We are heading back towards the. We are heading in back towards the airport, which is a good sign, Otto. See how he goes with the landing. You know, in 6 months' time, this could be a great aircraft. Who knows? But at the moment, we have a very expensive hang glider that looks like a fighter jet. 30% engines. And about just over a nautical mile away from the airport. This is just so weird that you can hear all the birds, etc., chirping around the place. What's our altitude? About 1450 and climbing. Want to be getting ready to land, Otto, not going higher. So he's coming up to the start of the pattern now. It's one good thing, I guess, about having the pattern markings, etc. on. 144 knots. Links in the show notes, simulatorgaming.com, and also the episode description show notes below with timestamps and links for each of these aircraft. So let's see if Otto can do a good job of landing. Are you in the pattern again, Otto, or have you... No, you're still in the pattern. Sweet. This is spooky. Do I want to pretend like I know what the sound of a F-14 is? No. Do I want to impersonate it? No. Let's see how he goes. How you doing, Otto? You'll have to turn to the left shortly. Actually, this would be quite ironic if this was his best landing. The landing in the 350 was pretty good, even though it was off to the side. And that's probably been the 350, even though he was slightly off target, off to the left. The A350 was probably his best landing of the episode so far.
Cleared to land runway tree, 2 left. Wind 271 at tree.
Cleared to land runway tree 2 left.
Alright, let's see if he makes a left-hand turn in this military grade hang glider. Still at 26-27% power, even though you can't hear it, which we may find out later is a known issue. This is why it's important to, especially with things that you're getting for free, it's important, but also with things that you're paying for. Although then again, having said that, with things that you're paying for, you shouldn't have issues like this. And if you do, report them so they can get fixed, or you can get your money back. But he is making the left-hand turn. Cut the engine back down to 18%. And let's see how he goes with the actual landing. This is spooky as fuck. I've heard a stealthy aircraft before, but the interesting thing though, I know there's no noise and it says that the engines are actually producing, because that's why it doesn't say that the engines are not started. Because according to my telemetry, the engines are going, even if they are only going at 21%, they are going. So he should be about to make a left-hand turn. Oh no, the engines have died altogether. Otto, what are you going to do? You're going to make this turn, Otto? Yes, he's making it. He's a bit wider than the actual pattern, but now he's coming down fast and hard, and we were going okay, but the engines have totally died now, and Otto's just going to put down wherever Otto feels like, basically, because that's what he does when he has an engine failure. At least I would try and make some sort of effort and stay up and, you know, not possibly crash into high voltage power lines like he almost did. And
Contact ground on 121.9er.
well, again, that wouldn't have been a bad landing if he was actually at the airport and at the runway. Well, there's the runway, I guess.
Bravo Alpha Foxtrot Mike at runway 32 left ready for takeoff, departing straight out.
Alright, this one, here we go. We're going hot air ballooning. Alright, Otto, you have the ship. Let's see what happens. Okay, there's no noise to there's no noise to take into consideration here, obviously, but we are above the ground, even though we are acting pretty much like an aircraft at this point. Hot air balloons you wouldn't usually just hover above the runway, but it's something a little bit different. And now we're up and about. There's no noise to speak of, but retract landing gear of a hot air balloon. Oh, there we go. Wasn't expecting that. Don't know if there's plans for any official hot air balloons or if there's you know, payware balloons or anything like that, but interesting. Well, according to the telemetry, the engine's running flat out in typical Otto fashion, but here we have some hot air ballooning. Oops, I'll try and zoom out as much as possible so you can see the whole balloon. Where this is going to go, who knows? dare say that the altitude's going to be dropping. I don't think that's naturally the way a balloon flies, but for something a little bit different, something free, something that I can just put up for 5 minutes and say, hey, look, if you really want to fly a hot air balloon on Microsoft Flight Simulator, you can. Is it going to be perfect? Probably not. Am I any hope of controlling this at this stage without doing any further research? Probably not, but there's a hot air balloon. Do we hang around and watch Otto try to land this thing? I don't think hot air balloons go like this at 180 knots doing circuits of an airport. Let's see what he does. This might be good for just for my own amusement. Alright. Let's see. Okay, you're over the airport now, Otto. Where are you going? Unfortunately, Otto, we don't have all day to see where you are going to land or where are you going to crash this thing. His altitude's actually pretty good. Unrealistic, yes, but pretty good. Am I going to keep that? Hell no. Alrighty, well that was slightly ridiculous. We may be going even more ridiculous based on how this episode's going. I am not sure. Now, nobody's going to be able to fly this aircraft in the real world again. I have actually seen it on static display in California. I was just amazed by the size of this thing. And no, it's not the A380 that will be hopefully coming up if that's worked a little bit further on down the track. I have been listening to a lot of audiobooks actually about this type of aircraft travel. Somewhat surprisingly, going back to the 1950s and the 1960s and all the way up to basically the current day. We're talking about space travel, and I found a space shuttle. Don't know how this is going to go.
Tower ready for departing straight out at runway tree 2 left.
Now this isn't obviously the way...
Runway tree 2 left, departing straight out approved.
Oh, this isn't the way that the space shuttle would... The space shuttle would not normally take off like this. It would land like this, but let's see. I'll adjust the camera. There's obviously an issue with the landing gear or lack thereof. Otto, you have the ship, quite literally. See if I can adjust the camera. There may be some camera issues as well. Disappointing. we're going to get off the ground. Can I adjust the camera to be a little bit more visible? Probably not. Oh, hang on. I was still in cab view. Oh, dear. Okay. That's disappointing. It's obviously been ported over from another type of simulator. Now, I don't know how Microsoft Flight Simulator would handle how a space shuttle leaves the Earth, but it could certainly cope with how it arrives back. I don't think we need to see much more, unfortunately. Alright, we're going to head back from the disappointment that was the space shuttle disappointment, and we're going to head with the F4 Phantom. We'll see how we go in relation to that. Certainly looked promising when I downloaded it earlier, but we'll see how we go. There are various versions of military aircraft around. If you know what you're looking for, I don't necessarily know what I'm looking for. There's some that I recognise because of people that I've heard of that have flown them, or movies that I've seen or whatever. But we'll see how we go with the F4 Phantom, shall we? I was expecting a little bit better of a model, even though it might have been a port from a various version of a simulator. I was expecting a little bit better than the space shuttle. I was a disappointment. I think it was the Endeavour that's space shuttle Endeavour that's at in California that I saw. It was a rather interesting one. Let's see how we go with the Phantom.
Departure at runway 32 left.
Alright, out of cab view. Oh, this is looking better at least. And the landing gear is correct. Alright, Otto, you have the ship. Oh, here we go. %, power, 98% power. Not liking how he's veering left of the runway though. Come on, Otto. Swerving all over the runway. Are you going to take off, Otto? There we go. Wasn't the best takeoff in the history of this airport, but I'll take it at this point. So he's brought the engines back. He realises that he has to do under 250 knots. Don't know if military aircraft would have an exemption in that sort of regard or not. But this actually looks quite good. Don't know how I'd go flying it at this point in my simulated flying career, but this is looking good. I'm going to have to explore this one a bit better. Explore this one a bit more. I quite like this one.
You are leaving my airspace frequency. Change approved.
Tower frequency change. Blagnac Tower is 5 miles northwest with Echo to land.
This might not be.
Blagnac Tower. Make left downwind runway 3, 2 left. Altimeter 29.90, 2 wind 271 at 3.
This again may not be a
Make
fair.
left downwind runway 32 left.
This may not be a fair representation of the Phantom and what it can do, but at least that I know that it looks good. It goes down the runway, it takes off, Otto's doing a reasonable job of controlling it at this point. So we'll see what he does with the landing. Yeah, this won't give a real test of the Phantom, but at least I'm not disappointed. Yeah, definitely like to give this one a bit more of a test out in a bit more realistic conditions. Seems to be doing the right thing in relation to the pattern and the speeds and approach speeds and whatnot. So that's promising. Definitely one for an upcoming episode. The F4 Phantom. We'll do a bit more research into it. It seems so slow for what this aircraft could probably actually do. 144 knots at the moment, it seems to be going so slow, but I know why it's doing it. So just cutting back the engines even further. So let's see if Otto can actually do...
Runway tree, 2 left. 1271 and 3.
Cleared to land runway tree 2 left.
Alright, let's see how we go on the landing. Otto, you've been cleared to land. quite liking this model actually. Well, I'm liking this a lot. Definitely keeping this one. Doesn't matter what sort of job Otto does on this landing. Just be about ready to turn on to final. Just cut the power again. Basically down to 0. Now you need to turn, Otto. Oh no, he's cut off the power. He's going wide. He's going down. Can you put the power back on, Otto? This is disappointing. This is all Otto. Oh, hang on, he's throttled up again. Otto's almost crashed into a high voltage power line there and into the trees. Oh, Otto, you had so much hope. Oh, you almost walked away from that one, my friend. Otto, disappointing, but again, I'm going to persevere with that one. Well, we're almost at the end of the episode. We're about to continue in military aviation land. The C-17 we're about to go with. This one actually came with a lot of different Air Force liveries, and I was able to choose an Australian Air Force skin straight out of the box, so to speak. So I'll be looking forward in a moment to see how that one goes. Full details on the show notes, and we'll go through all the aircraft right at the end.
Tower testing at 112 tree ready at runway tree 2 left straight out departure.
Testing to the 112 tree, cleared for takeoff runway tree 2 left straight out departure approved.
I don't think that landing gear is quite correct.
For takeoff runway tree 2 left testing unit 112 tree.
And this is Royal Air Force from the UK. I don't like that landing gear. We'll see how we go. We'll give auto controls, get out of the aircraft. Alright, Otto, you have the ship. We'll see how we go. This has obviously been converted over from another simulator because this aircraft should be a lot bigger than this. See how we go. See if Otto can take off. Thinking about lifting off. There we go. We're up. We're not up very high, but we're up. cut back the power. This aircraft should be a lot bigger than what it actually is, but it did not a bad job of taking off, I guess. Now we'll see how Otto flies this aircraft. I think I'll start paying more attention to some of the military stuff out there though.
Testing unit 1 at 1123, you are leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Tower testing unit 1 at 1123, frequency change.
Again, they didn't get my joke of testing 1212.
Blagnac tower testing unit 1 at 1123 is 5 miles northwest with echo to land.
Alright, so
Testing
he's...
unit 1 at 1123, Blagnac tower. Enter left downwind runway 32 left. Altimeter 29.9 2 wind 271 at 3.
Would I be keeping this one though? Basically the scales are wrong, I don't care how it flies.
Left testing unit 1 at 1123.
Yeah, didn't get my testing 1212 joke. Doing a good job of keeping his airspeed down though. Again, not a real good test of how it would go on a longer flight. See how we go, Mr. Otto. Engines are on about 75%. It also could be my lack of knowledge about the aircraft in question, but that just seems rather small for what I thought it was going to be. But the landing gear definitely seems to be wrong. They should be sitting higher off the ground than what they are. There's the airport over there to the left. That landing gear just seems to be too small for the aircraft. I could be wrong, but gear down. Maybe I'm thinking of a C-130 Hercules or something, which is massive. Might have to do some more research, but it's doing a reasonable job of flying. I'd probably have to get a side-by-side shot of a C-17 and a C-130 in you know, that could be me lack of military knowledge thing. It's probably coming in too hot. The sim thinks he's coming in too hot. We'll see how he goes. Reducing the speed, cutting down the power. He's cut off all his power auto. So they're much happier with his approach speed now.
Testing unit 50112 cleared to land runway 32 left. Wind 271 at 3.
Cleared to land, runway 32 left, testing 1212.
Cleared to land runway 32 left, testing unit 50112.
Alright. Oh, he has applied some engine power again, 54%. Left turn shortly, which he's preparing to do. Good job, Otto. Looking alright, airspeed 180. Altitude's just slightly going down, which is fine, which he wants to be doing at this stage. Anyway, about 1400 feet. Cut the power again, turning to the left, applying a bit more power halfway through the turn, looking not bad, Otto. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. This might not be too bad, Otto.
400.
Even though he seems to be slightly to the right according to the landing pattern and a bit early.
300.
This doesn't look like the airport, Otto.
200.
Hang on, this is looking alright-ish. Oh, Otto.
50. 40.
Slightly to the left.
30. 20. 10.
Auto.
Testing unit 12112 contact ground on 121.9er.
Testing 1212. Ready to copy down a phone number.
121.9er for testing unit 12112.
Oh, auto. It's better than some of your landings this episode, I guess. Let's go back to the main menu. Certainly better than some of his other efforts on this episode. At the end of the episode, we will recap and just go through the list of aircraft. I'll have a quick scan to see if there's any problems that I can immediately identify, apart from what I already have identified. And that is indeed unless I can find the A380 really quickly, which I can't. I might have it installed in the wrong folder. That is it. So let me go through and quickly have a look on my list and tell you what we did. The A380 with the working cockpit, we didn't find it, so I'm going to have to go looking for that one. Okay, so I can close that window. The 737 was converted from a FSX default 737. By no means perfect or usable for realistic flight and operations. The cockpit is unclickable and avionics barely work in a realistic way. Known issues: engines may not start, wing flex may not be present, cockpit is currently not interactive, avionics are broken and textures aren't great. I'd agree with all of that. I can close that window. The Concorde. You will see flight model, make it modern, go to legacy. If you do not do this, the plane will not fly. It does not have afterburners. Cockpit is currently not interactive. Avionics are broken. That was a import of the FSX Concorde. So I can close that window. The CRJ 700 work in progress. I don't know too much about why that didn't work. Nothing really there on that one, unfortunately. The CRJ. This is the hot air balloon. Nothing really there. Nothing really there, but that was the hot air balloon. I can close that window. The Antonov AN12, I didn't see that one, so I'm going to have to look for that one. I could just have it installed in the wrong place, like the A380. This one was the Space Shuttle. It flies pretty terribly, but feel free to tweak your various files. Vertical takeoff would be nice, but you can always use slew mode. Won't be keeping that one. I can close that window. This is the F4 Phantom 2. I really enjoyed that one. Scale is probably off. No working cockpit. Sound is not right. No animation yet. Landing gear height's a bit off, but I love seeing it in the air. One person's described, not impressed with this one. First off, there's no cockpit view. If you read the description, it'll have that there. Some weird internal fuselage view. We'll get out of fuselage view. took about 250 yards to reach N1, not even close to the real thing. I think they acknowledged that. I'm prepared to give it another go. I can close that window. This one's the DC3, which has been ported from Flight Simulator X. It suggests using the legacy flight model and selecting FSX with that helps. With this one, may have to try that one again, but we'll see. The C-47 certainly worked better. This is the B-52 Mitchell bomber. Although in other parts it describes it as the B-25, so I'm not sure if it's the B-52 or the B-25. I don't know enough about the aircraft, but it's a World War II era aircraft. Nothing really mentioned about issues with that one, but that one was okay. Close that window. This is the C47 Skytrain, which was good. Various reports about that, including one that engine will also randomly turn off without warning. Yeah, we saw that one. There may be better versions of the C-47 that I can find elsewhere. This one was the FA-18. This one was disappointing. Not perfect study level FA-18. The engines can't manually be started, so you have to spawn in the air on the runway. The gear up is by default, no matter where you spawn. The afterburner doesn't work. Wobbly at high speeds. The plane works better under the legacy flight model. I won't be keeping that one. And now the Airbus helicopter. I did mention that there's quite a few videos out and about on how to change controller settings in relation to that. This is version 0.75, which has been out just basically a day or so after recording this. They're working on it. They're working on it. And there's definitely some progress there. I can close that window. The C-17, that was the last one that we flew. Let's have a look at that one. C-17 Globemaster with the working cockpit of 747. Flight Simulator X conversion. Work in progress, needs a lot of work. The gear is half sunken into the ground. Some of the lights do not work. The physics, aerodynamics, weight and balance are based on the 747. So they are aware of the gear issues that I reported. The converted 737, well, we spoke about that one earlier. We can get rid of that one. The hot air balloon, we spoke about that. The F-14 Tomcat. Let's have a look, see noted issues there. It's not an Flight Simulator X conversion. The cockpit's not realistic, probably doesn't fly like the F-14 and should be avoided by anyone expecting this to be a serious mod, and probably good for some fun flights / screenshots. Well, that's being a bit generous, but here we go, and I don't think I saw the blimp. Or if I did, I skipped the blimp. Did I see the blimp? Are we gonna end with a blimp? Can I find the blimp? Hey there, blimpy boy. Alright, can I find the blimp? Or have I put the blimp in the wrong folder? They're the two hot air balloons. There's a blimp. Let's finish on the blimp. I knew I had the blimp somewhere. I knew I downloaded the blimp and I extracted the blimp, but the Antonov didn't work and the A380 didn't work. I'll have to look into that at some other time. But we are going to end with a blimp, and we'll see how Otto goes with a blimp. Yeah, the space shuttle I was disappointed about. The Tomcat severely. The Phantom I was pleasantly surprised about. The C-47's got some issues. Out of all of this, the Phantom, yes. The A350, yes. I was excited about that. Want to find the 380. Some disappointing ones there. Oh, it is 4 AM as I'm recording this. Some disappointing ones there. Now, seriously, if I had have read some of the descriptions, some of them I wouldn't have even downloaded. But that's the idea of this episode, to show you some of the things that are out there that are really, really good. You know, some of the things are definitely works in progress, and some of them are ports from other versions of older versions of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Some of them are there for fun, like there's a flying donut and there's a just an engine that flies around by itself. The blimp could definitely be considered fun as well, and the hot air balloon. If someone does a really good hot air balloon.
Tower at runway 32 left, ready for takeoff, departing straight out.
Let's see, what's the...
Cleared for takeoff, runway 32 left, departing straight out, approved.
Oh, it's a blimp. Alright, well, get out of cockpit view. Alright. We have a blimp. Otto, you have the blimp. Sounding a lot like a Cessna. Taking off a lot like a Cessna. Let's have a look. Bit of fun to end the episode, I guess. Oops, I'll just adjust the screen. There we go. Taking off like a Cessna. It's a bit of fun. No need to guess where I found this one. Flightsim Squadron. The group of people who put this together. But something a little bit fun to finish the episode. I've been Simulator, you've been wonderful. Show notes down below of the video with all the timestamps, the links to Flightsim.to and the other one as well. The other websites being allflightmods.com. If you're in the market for some free downloads for some planes with Microsoft Flight Simulator, take my advice, read the descriptions, read the comments, and you may find some hidden gems. You might find yourself having a little bit of fun with a blimp. Who knows? Anywho, I've been Simulator. What? I've been Simulated Dirk. You've been wonderful. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.